Welcome to Homicide Hindsight. Today's story is about a 14-year-old princess named Alianna DeFreeze. Do you have any 14-year-old girls in your household? Have you ever thought about what you would say to your young daughter about protecting herself if they were ever in a situation where they needed to? Have you ever had any conversations about them about self-defense devices, self-defense moves? It's 2023. Does your family have a GPS system that keeps everyone on track? If not, this story may make you consider all of that.
Alianna DeFreeze was a 14-year-old girl from Cleveland, Ohio. On January 26, 2017, she went missing while on her way to school, sparking a community-wide search for her whereabouts. Alianna's family reported her missing when she failed to return home from school. Her family and friends immediately began searching for her, but tragically, it wasn't until 3 days later that her body was discovered in an abandoned home. The discovery sent shockwaves through the community and triggered an intense investigation to find the perpetrator. Law enforcement agencies and community members mobilized to bring justice to Alianna's case. The investigation involved gathering evidence, conducting interviews, and analyzing forensic findings, and most importantly, finding video footage that helped to identify the person responsible for her murder. It eventually led to the arrest and conviction of Christopher Whitaker, a convicted sex offender who had been released from prison just months before Alianna's death. In February 2018, Whitaker was found guilty on all charges and sentenced to death. The murder of Alianna DeFreeze deeply impacted the Cleveland community. It highlighted the importance of community safety and the need for improved communication and collaboration between law enforcement and schools, and sparked discussions on child safety and protection. Alianna's tragic death left a lasting impact on her family, friends, and the wider community. Her memory is cherished, and efforts have been made to honor her legacy, promote awareness about missing and exploited children, and advocate for improved safety measures. The murder of Alianna DeFreeze was a devastating event that shook the Cleveland community and emphasized the need for continued efforts to protect and ensure the safety of children.
So how did it happen? How was Alianna murdered? What happened on that fateful day? Let's get into it.
Alianna had to take 2 RTA buses to get to school on a daily basis. Video surveillance shows that she boarded the first bus on schedule and experienced a typical commute, even taking a few moments to have a friendly exchange with a friend. This was like any other cold, snowy day in Cleveland, except that this day, she exited the second bus, 1 stop too early. Video surveillance from the bus shows her exiting the bus, and it remains unclear why she got off the bus so early. Investigators speculate it was just a case of not paying attention. Surveillance video from a nearby church picks up Alianna nonchalantly strolling down the sidewalk in the direction of school, with no sense of urgency, in my opinion, seemingly immersed in her phone or music when she hauntingly crosses paths with Christopher Whitaker. She seems to flinch and takes a step backward as if surprised to see him standing there, but she then continues on seemingly unalarmed. The next dramatic video footage of Alianna is of her last moments as she's forcibly shuffled down the street by the monster. Investigators who now know that she exited the bus too early are zeroed in on this area. They are aware of a string of abandoned houses in this area and do a thorough search. They ultimately find her bloody, unrecognizable body there. She had been tortured, raped, and disfigured by the use of various tools. She could only be positively identified through DNA.
My sincere condolences to Alianna's family and friends. I know she was truly loved. You could just see her spirit through those photos and the videos that you were kind enough to share with the media. She really felt truly like a special soul. One thing I noticed about this story right away is the fact that Alianna had earphones in her ears while she was on the bus. And when she exited the bus, she also had the earphones in her ears. When she was walking down the street, she seemed like she was completely immersed in either her phone or her music. I think this is a very dangerous thing for any child, male or female, when they have long stretches of walk without anyone around, to have earphones in their ears that are blocking out all sound. I think a safer bet would be invest in these type of earphones. They go over the ear and they don't go inside of the ear, so they leave your eardrums actually open so that you can hear cars, you can hear vehicles go by, and you can hear insults and crazy people yelling at you. Maybe if Alianna was not so immersed in whatever was happening on her phone, she would have noticed a strange looking man standing there. He had no business there whatsoever at, what was it, 6:30 in the morning on a cold, snowy day in Cleveland, standing outside. My hope would have been that she would have noticed him and crossed the street. I have no problem in telling my daughter or telling someone, if you see someone suspicious standing on the side of the road, it doesn't matter about their feelings. Be bold, cross the street to avoid them if you feel that you need to. So one of the things I noticed, even though the picture is very grainy, I didn't see a whole lot of flailing or kicking or any movement out of Alianna. She seemed to be in a type of shock, just because someone like Alianna is not thinking that she's going to get abducted today. I'm sure she's being overpowered by this man. She has no idea what's going on. And I believe that she lived in a world where these just kind of things just were not discussed. I could be wrong. But in my opinion, little girls at least need to know the sensitive areas where to kick a man. The groin and the eyes, and I believe the throat. I could be wrong. I'm not an expert. I'm just going by what I've heard as well. So I think it's really important to teach little girls that not only it's okay, it's expected to fight ferociously for your life and for your rights, and that no man has a right to put his hands on you and lead you anywhere. The next thing I would have suggested for Alianna is have one of those personal alarms on her backpack that she could have pulled off that makes a very loud sound and lights. It may not be enough to draw attention in such a desolate place, but it's certainly enough to maybe discourage the attacker to move on, especially if he's already paranoid from doing drugs all night. You never know. So that's all I have. Do you have any other suggestions that little Alianna could have done in her situation? Please leave the comments below. That's what we're here for the conversation. Just to put that thing in the back of someone's mind where if they ever need to pull that to the forefront, it's there. Thanks for tuning in.